Howdy y'all, it's Kathy from Most Paper Scissors, and I'm here today to do the hashtag ABC April 2025 challenge. Today the letter is W, and I decided to do whimsical ephemera. And so I have several things out here that I want to talk about, and I'm going to demonstrate a couple of things. I'm going to show you some examples of how I use the whimsical ephemera in my junk journals. And it's a lot of fun. I use a variety of different things. I use some wooden ephemera. I use these little, what are they called? Little chalkboard tags from the Dollar Tree. I use stickers. I use metal. There's just a lot of different things. I think the whimsical ephemera leans itself well to themed journals, let's say like a holiday theme, or maybe a 50s or retro theme, maybe steampunk. I can't think of any more right off the top of my head, but what I like to do, I like to use some store-bought ephemera and maybe repurpose it. I like to make my own. I also use metal rim tags. There's just a variety of things. I use the little wobbles. I have two sizes. I have the larger size and the mini wobbles, and those are fun. They kind of make an interactive element to your page or your journal. I will show you some examples of how I use them in my journals, and I'll demonstrate a couple of things. I think I've already said that. I want to stop the camera for a second. I'm going to clear this away, and how I'm going to do this, I'm going to first do Halloween, and then I'm going to do Christmas, and then I'm going to do just a variety of different themed ephemera where you can personalize it for your own journal. So I'm going to stop. I'll be right back. Okay, I have some of Halloween ephemera here that I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if I said Dollar Tree is a great place to get wooden embellishments, other things too, but there are just, I think you get a lot of bang for your buck at the Dollar Tree. You can get like a little package of the little ghost. You get 8 for $1, $1.25. So, you know, it's just fun. I also like to go to Walmart and Hobby Lobby and get stickers and use those types of things. But let's talk about, this is just an example of painting a little ghost, and then I added a alligator clip on the back, and that will just allow you to put it into a journal, and I'll show you what it looks like here. If you just clipped it onto a page, and then it would stand out of your little journal. So that's that. This is the same little ghost made as a another bookmark, but more of a bookmark, and I added a clip on the back, and again you would just clip this to a page and you could move it throughout your book as a little bookmark. So those are two ideas. This is again just a witch's hat that I added a alligator clip to the back, and again you could clip it onto a page. This journal was one that I made last year, and it has a little wobble. The ghost is on a little wobble, and I thought that was really cute, kind of interactive, and I thought we could make that really quick. The wobbles are just easy to use. They have a top and a bottom. This is a top, and then this is the bottom, and then all you do, well, first let's glue this ribbon twist paper down so it can be glued. And I don't always go to the edge on the ribbon twist. I like to tear tear it, but we'll just put that on the thing and put it down, and then we'll come back to that in just a minute. But all you do is you take the wobble, and I'm going to take the top part off, if I can, if I can do it with no fingers, no fingernails. Yeah, so you just, and then that's sticky, and then you just kind of position it where you want it, where it's not going to show, and I just put it on there, and then we're going to take the back of the wobble, and it just peels off. And again, it's clear plastic, so it doesn't really show. But then you can put that on there, and I like to put it on maybe at an angle, and then you just glue it on, and now you have an interactive element that again could be on the front of a journal. It could be a journal topper. So, you know, but I think that's a lot of fun. So that's one example. Another idea from the Dollar Tree was they sell these little skeletons. They come on a piece of rope, kind of like a garland, and you get 8 for $1. And what I like to do is I like to deconstruct it. What I do is I take the head, take the head off, and then I'll take the arms off, but I'm not going to do that right now. But it comes apart right here, and then what I like to do is I like to move it down on the skeleton, and then I'm not going to continue to work with that. But then I just move it down, and I put the head back on there, and I just kind of deconstruct it. I take the arms and legs, and I just add a little metal rim tag that says bone collector, and you have a little tassel. That's a little skeleton. So if anybody's interested in seeing that, how I really make those, just leave me a comment and I'll try and accommodate that. But again, it's just would be cute on a journal. This obviously has a backing on it, but you see you can just put it on the journal, and then you have a little whimsical tassel for your journal. So that's another example. These are some little wooden embellishments that I got at the Dollar Tree, and these I painted with a Copic marker, and I think it worked very well. And they come with a clothespin on the back. What I like to do is take my heat gun, and I will warm up the glue, and then I just pop it off, and so it comes right off. And then what I like to do is I like to back it, and then what I do is I just go around it with my little hand. I don't know what this thing is called. I guess an X-Acto knife, a hand X-Acto knife. And I just go around, and I'll just peel that off, and I don't have to finish the whole thing. You can get the idea of what it looks like. But then I have it backed with some black velvet, and I think that looks nice. This is another example. This is just a little chalkboard tag, but again, this is where I backed it with the sticky backed velvet. And so the back just looks nicer when it's sitting in a journal. You don't see that. And then I like to use the rusted alligator clips, because you can, on the back of a page, you can you see it, but then you could add something and it could hold something else. Like if you had, another. So that's just an example. So those are fun, and you get 4 for $1. So it's a pretty good deal. Then these were just some examples of metal rim tags. And this one that just says things that go bump in the night. And I added a wobble to the back, and then I would just peel that off and I would stick it to a page, and then it would be interactive. And I can show you that. I'll show you that real quick. It's not like I don't have a million of these. And so there you have a little tag that's interactive, and things that go bump in the night, and it moves, so I think that's cute. So that is an example of that. And then I'm going to use this same, this is just another example of a little metal rim tag that you could make a wobble out of. I had the idea where if you took the little ghost and I added a couple of hole punches, I did it with my crocodile, and then you could add it to a page and it could be a belly band. So I thought that was a cute idea, or you could have it, across the page, and that would make a great belly band. So that was an idea for that. Let's see. Oh, Dollar Tree also sells little themed pencils, and those are cute just to stick into your journal. And, again, another element that is just something a little extra. Okay, let's see. Oh, I wanted to make this. This was a bookmark that I made last year, and I just added a alligator clip to the back, and it clips into a journal. I'll show you what it would look like. It just clips and then it sticks out of the journal, and then the back you just see. So we're going to make this one really quick. All I did was take a popsicle stick and I stamped on it some script stamps, and then I inked around the edges. And then all I did was take this little skeleton head. I got these at not at Hobby Lobby, at Dollar Tree. And all I did was I'm going to cut a slit in this head with my X-Acto knife. And then I'm going to put my little popsicle stick in there. And then all I did was I took some eyelash trim, and I'm just going to put some up here in the front and on the back, and we'll just wrap it around, and you have a cute little bookmark. Let's see, I'm just going to wrap it around. And then you can kind of fluff it out, and you can make it as big or as little as you want. And then I'm just going to glue it again here on the back, and we're done. And then I would add a clip to it, and you have a bookmark. So I thought that was fun. So those were another idea from the Dollar Tree. This was an idea of just using some stickers that I had. The flying monkeys, I always think of that at Halloween. And so that's that. I like to use stickers that I make from the Avery website, and then you can, add them to your journal. These are like infectious substance, radioactive, so I think those are fun. All right, I'm going to clear this away, and we'll put out the Christmas items and talk about Christmas. Oh, let me go through this, and this was the journal. So it's got the interactive element. I think that's the only thing in there that I've got that is really kind of whimsical, and then the back, this was again another piece from the Dollar Tree. I had to repurpose it. It was, I believe, a metal stand, and I just took the metal bottom part off and used this as the back. So there's a lot of things. You just kind of have to think outside the box. And so let me pull out Christmas, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we're back with some of the Christmas items, and I know it looks like a hot mess, but some of them I'm just going to pull off to the side, but I wanted to demonstrate. Let's just look at these. These were some little ornaments that I got at Walmart, and they make great little bits of ephemera, and then they also have smaller ones. These are a little thicker, but I think they would work in a journal. This was just an example of I found these little truck ornaments at the Dollar Tree, and I just painted it and added a little clip on the back. I didn't finish the back on this one. I would do something before I actually put it in my journal because I would want it to be finished. But then that just clips on to a page and will stick out from a journal. So that gives you an idea. This is just a little Christmas tree from the Dollar Tree. Again, you get 8 pieces for $1. And on the little Christmas tree, I added just a little bit of glitter on the star. And then I added a alligator clip, and it just clips on, and then it will stick out above your journal. And I'll show some examples of an actual journal in just a minute. But these are all kind of the same. I didn't put gesso on some of these ornaments. I kind of wish that I had, but it took the paint very well. I used like acrylic paint. I used distress paint. Like I said, I used Copic marker on one thing, but those are just some fun things. These are another example of the little pencils that they sell at Dollar Tree, and they also sell these little erasers, a little Christmas tree. That's a Santa, a Frosty, and a reindeer. And I thought those were both cute, and those would be so cute just to stick into a journal as something a little extra special. Then these were some ornaments that I just decided to repurpose them. They came with a wire, and I took the wire off. It also had, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of glitter, and I just scraped that off. I didn't want the glitter on there. And then I just added it to a popsicle stick and a little paper clip. And you have another little journal topper. So that was fun. And then this is the same thing, but I covered the back with the sticky backed velvet, so it looks a little bit more finished. And then I added a alligator clip. What I would do on the front of the alligator clip is, I don't want it to show when the front is on there. So what I do is I would open it up. Oh, I've already cut it off. So I cut the prong and then it doesn't show when you clip it onto a page. See, it just looks like it's on the page. You don't see any of the clip. And then on the back, you could use that as a place to have some ephemera. So that was an example. This is, again, just another one of the blackboard little tags that I took the clothespin off, added a rusted alligator clip. Again, I cut the front so it doesn't have the prong on the front, and that's, you know, in your journal. Or you could put it on the side if you wanted, if it made sense to you to do that. These were some little gnomes that I found at the Dollar Tree. They were actually ornaments, and I didn't cut that one off good, but I wanted you to see that it had a little string on there that you could hang it on the tree. But I took those off. I just painted the popsicle stick. On this one, I added gnome for the holidays. And then I wanted to show you how easy it was. This is just another popsicle stick that I gessoed. And I'm just going to put a little glue on the end here. And then I just find the back, and you just put it in there. And I should have put some glue on this underside, so let's put some glue on there too. And then that'll just make it a little bit more secure. And then I would add a paper clip so you could clip it different places in the journal, and it becomes a bookmark. So that's an you know, a fun little element. Again, I like to use stickers. So what I did was I added a little wobble to the Santa, and I left it here on a guest check where you could write, maybe you had a special Christmas that you wanted to write about, and so that's just that. And then I like these stickers from Hobby Lobby, the little truck with the tree in the back. So I used those on, like on this journal as a journal topper. This is the back. I need to glue that down. But it makes a great journal topper. But I thought it would be more fun if it was a wobble journal topper. So I was going to just demonstrate again, putting some ribbon twist paper down, and then adding the wobble to it. Okay, and then I have the wobble already on there, and I'm just going to take the backing off. I say that. Okay. And then let's center it on there as best I can. And now you have a journal topper that is a wobbler. So that was another idea. Then at Christmas time, we watch Christmas movies over and over and over. I've seen them, you know, every year, and I have my best friend comes and we watch Christmas Vacation. We've done it for 30 years. We haven't missed a year, and we laugh like we've never heard it before. But I thought it would be fun this is an example of just making some whimsical ephemera that is your personal style. And what I did was I added just a label here that talks about George, Clark, the Grinch, Buddy, and Ralphie. And these are the movies that we watch the most at Christmas time. And I just made some ephemera to go in there, and you could stick this into a journal. But what I wanted to show you was, okay, the first one was George Bailey. So for the last several years, I've added It's a Wonderful Life tag in my journals, and I add a little jingle bell. I don't know if you can hear it. But, you know, every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. So I've added that to my journals for a long time, but I thought it would be fun to include in this one. And then the next one is Clark Griswold. And so I had these stickers that I got at Hobby Lobby. And they're the little trailers, and then they have a tree. So I used the trailer, and I said, don't go falling in love with it now, because we're taking it with us when we leave here next month. And so that's just a quote from the movie. So I thought that was fun, and you could write your favorite quote. The Grinch, I got these little Grinch, How the Grinch Stole Christmas playing cards at Hobby Lobby last year. You get 52 in a deck, so there's quite a few. They're different images. There's Cindy Lou Who, the Grinch, just some other things. But I thought that was a fun, whimsical little addition. And then talking about Buddy the Elf, I made this, what's your favorite color? Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? And I also wanted to demonstrate, this is an example of when in the movie he talks about, world's best cup of coffee. So I made a little sticker, and I just printed it on the clear shipping labels, the matte clear. See if I can get it off. Okay, so I got it partially off, and I'm just going to stick it here on the little guest check, as I thought that you could write about your favorite cup of coffee, or maybe you have a recipe for your coffee, and then that's a little tag. And then Hobby Lobby had these tags that are coffee cups or hot chocolate. I thought it would be cute to add one of those to the tag, and they really look more like hot chocolate, but let's just do Let It Snow. And then all I did was just add it on there, and then you could write your recipe for hot chocolate or coffee, whatever you want. So that was another Buddy the Elf tag. And then the last one was Ralphie with A Christmas Story, and I used the Red Ryder rifle. Just tells you about the Red Ryder, and you'll shoot your eye out, kid. But I didn't have that one made up. So those would be some ideas where you could just take I used a library card holder and just put your tags in there, and then you add it to your journal, and you can personalize your movies. So that's an idea for those. I wanted to talk about, I got this little ornament last year at the Dollar Tree, and I just loved them. I immediately thought of Clark Griswold and driving home with their Christmas tree. It comes where you have to paint it. I added black circles for the tires. Some reason I couldn't get the paint to do right on that, so that's why I did that. I added the rope, and then I just added a little alligator clip on the back, and I love these. I think they are so cute. Something else I wanted to show you, I really enjoyed making these Christmas vacation tags. I also last year made this is a Tim Holtz, I believe it's Ideology clipboard, and I added the tag to it, and then the pages are just tea stain pages that I've added a Christmas tree, or added a Santa, just different things, some quotes from the movies, and it's just a little deconstructed Christmas journal. So that's that's another idea of something you could do. I got these at the Dollar Tree, and they were filled with just with stuffing quilt batting. I took that out, and I thought these would be cute to place on a journal page. You could glue it down just at the bottom here, just glue the bottom, and then it could be a place to, for you to put special little items. It could be something you add to a journal. Just you include with your journal that it has maybe all the little small pieces or different ephemera that you wanted to include with the journal. But I thought, those were cute. Again, just $1. I forget how many I got. I think I got one for $1. I'm not sure. But that was an example of that. This is another example of just using the little sticker onto a coin envelope or type card, and did that. So that's that. Let me go through a couple of journals showing you some of the elements, and maybe you'll get an idea. I like to use the little jingle bells here. This is a tuck spot where I added just ribbon crimps. This is again the back, and that's a sticker. This is one of the gnomes that I added. This is just the little ho, ho, ho. I added that little sticker on there. And then you can move him around because he's a bookmark. And then this is just one of the little trees. And then back here is the Clark Griswold, the Christmas Vacation in a journal. So that was that one. And then this Christmas journal, again, I have the jingle bells on the closure and on the signatures. And this was something I got at Walmart. And then inside, this is another example of using a rusted item as a place to, a tuck spot. And I really enjoyed that. So that's another whimsical element. Here's our ho, ho, ho. There's the tree. There's the gnome. I added a jingle bell onto the top of his little hat, charting his course. So there's just some fun things. Again, here's the Christmas Vacation. Let's see, there's a Santa back there. Or no, Santa, snowman. And then I added a pencil. And so that's just basically, this is again a galvanized words that I got at Hobby Lobby. And so, but that's what it looks like when it's, closed and your little elements stick out. I think that's fun. And then this one is again really the same thing, just this is using one of those ornaments from Walmart. There's a Dollar Tree element. Again, they're basically the same. I just love using the same things. You can tell what I like. And then again, this is the rusted little truck that I use as a tuck spot. So that's that. I have one other group of ephemera that I want to talk about, and then we'll be done. It's just maybe a different theme. So give me just a minute, and I'll be right back. Okay, this is just the miscellaneous ephemera that some I've made, some is store-bought. But this was just an example again of something that I used, a bookmark that I used in a Thanksgiving journal, and then this was just gobble gobble, a little metal rim tag. So that's just a couple of other ideas of ephemera. This is what I call a faux typewriter key, and I added the little wobble on the back, and you could just add it to your page, and that's just an idea. This is using some Tim Holtz ephemera, and you could just add a little wobble on there, and then you have an interactive element. If you wanted the little dance, the little girl dancing. So I thought those would be cute on a page where, you added that to your journal. So those were some ideas. And then I have a great fascination, I guess, with The Wizard of Oz, and grew up watching it every year. It came on TV once a year. You'd get to stay home from church and watch it, and I just really loved the values that it taught. And so I thought it would be fun if you had a Wizard of Oz journal, or just maybe a journal where you talked about movies or quotes, things that you liked. So I thought this would be easy to slip into a journal, but it's several different little tags that I wanted to share. So that's just a library pocket holder. And then this is just the Haunted Forest, Witch's Castle, 1 mile I'd turn back if I were you. And that's just an example of the type of whimsical ephemera you can make yourself. And then I added the wobble on the back. And then this is just a sticker with Dorothy. And then this was I stamped the bicycle, and it looks like it's kind of flying up. And then this was an example of using the wobble. And it's just the little house that, gets caught up in the tornado. I thought that was a cute little tag for you. And this is just, are you a good witch or a bad witch? So Glenda. And then this is the Wicked Witch. And I don't have that on there. This is when she was melting, and you could add, I'm melting off to the side. But if we just add that, I'll just show you again real quick how easy it is to quickly make something. And this is just all things that I either found a digital print, or I made a sticker myself. And now you have the little witch that wobbles. And then this is just a picture of the scarecrow. And one of my favorite quotes is where he says, some people without brains do an awful lot of talking. And I love that. And then this is a Cowardly Lion. And then the Tin Man, my all-time favorite quote from The Wizard of Oz is where he's telling him that hearts will never be practical until they can be made unbreakable. And I love that quote. I use it all the time. And then he also said, a heart is not judged by how much you love, but by how much you are loved by others. And so I just loved that tag. And then this was one of the flying monkeys. They scared me so bad as a kid that I just, I don't like monkeys today because of the flying monkeys. And so I thought that was fun to have him wobble. And so those were just some ideas of things you could do if you had a themed journal. Then one of my other favorite things was, I was a big I Love Lucy fan. And if you had let's say like a Paris or a fashion themed journal, I always say everything I learned about Paris fashions, I learned from I Love Lucy. And this is just a picture, a digital, where it's the lady walking in the fancy clothes. And then this is Lucy walking in the outfit that Ricky had made. And then that's Lucy and Ethel. And then that's Lucy and Ethel again. So that's, just a personal fun. And then, you can also get these digitals, and I just put this onto a metal rim tag. But I think a lot of us have Lucy and Ethel moments, and it's fun to, use that growing up. So that's what I wanted to share today, was the wooden items and the wobbles, and just maybe thinking outside the box when it comes to some of your ephemera, and if we're not laughing, we're crying. So laughter is good medicine, and I thought it would be fun to have some interactive elements in the journal. I would appreciate your comments, what you thought. If you're interested in me doing a quick little demo on how to make the skeleton tassel, I'd be glad to do that. Just let me know. I do appreciate your time. Some of the elements I do sell in my shop, mostly the rusted items, but I do have the Wizard of Oz kit, little thing, that little insert. I do appreciate your time. If you like the video, if you hit the like button, that helps me. And just thank you very much.